Hello, welcome back to the LineStar MLB DFS breakdown. It is April 21st. It is a Friday. Let's get into it. Now, before we do, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to all of our videos here. And if you want, join the notification gang and make sure you are a LineStar subscriber. It is only $29.99. Gets you access to all the props, all the DFS, all the projections, optimizer, all the tools we got. And let's go over today's slate. We got a big boy. We got 12 games. There is the chance of postponement in Minnesota. There is a chance of snow. So make sure you keep an eye on that. They can totally play through. It's just whether they want to or not. So we should know fairly early if that game is going to be postponed. And it happens to also have one of the highest owned pitchers today, a pitcher that I really like. But before we get to that, let's go to Aaron Nola, 39.7%. He's in a good spot. It is Aaron Nola. It's versus the Colorado Rockies, who aren't a great team. Nola hasn't brought his best stuff. There is one thing that is very worrying to me, is he has only had a 20.4% K rate so far this season. That is down from 27.3 over his last 20 starts. So that is definitely worrisome. I think his K stuff is probably going to show up here soon. But it is something to kind of keep an eye on when he's this high owned and that K rate hasn't showed up. It is a little bit scary. Also, not to mention that he's, mid 9K price tag. The combined K rate being 21.4 just doesn't really support that price tag. But we know the combined K rate should be much higher based on who he has been in the past with a 27% K rate. Colorado strikes out 23% versus righties. So taking him, you do have to take a little bit of a leap of faith that he is who he always has been. Not that there's something wrong with him that has brought down that K rate. The other thing we can bring up is his opponent, Team VP, BVP. 70 plate attempts. They're hitting 348 off him. So, but they have struck out at 28.6. So there is some reason for upside, but the Rockies have got to him in the past. It looks like when they have got to him, however, has been in Colorado. So his scores at home seem to be pretty decent there. Next, Male. This is the game that could get snowed out or just postponed due to cold. It is chilly and breezy, but he has a great matchup versus Washington. Obviously, Washington's a pretty bad offense. Male's in a great spot. He's been pretty good lately. I like his mid 8K price tag, so I don't mind that. And obviously, then we got Shohei. I'm really surprised to see Shohei at 29%. He is a monster in a good matchup. Huge K upside, 33% combined K rate. The combined K rate's 27%. He's in the best spot. If you ask me, he's just an expensive price going towards 11K. Next, John Gray. John Gray, you don't really ever know what you're going to get. He can be electric. He can give up some runs, but today we are versus Oakland, who strikes out 23.6% versus lefties. Meanwhile, Gray, 26% K rate over his last 20. Just like Nola, though, his start has been a little slow, 20.6% K rate over his last 5 starts. But a little bit better matchup than Nola, similarly priced here. Freddie Peralta in a decent spot versus the Red Sox. Don't mind if you go there. Then if we go down, Lucchesi is in a decent spot versus the Giants, who strike out a lot. You just don't really know what we're going to get. Hasn't pitched for a little while in the major leagues, and against the Giants, Steven Matz is a little interesting to me. So 22% combined K rate, 25% K rate for him at Seattle, who strikes out 23.7% versus lefties. So I think there is some room for him to have a decent game, and he's fairly cheap. So I do kind of like that. George Kirby is an electric rookie, or sorry, second year pitcher. He was a rookie last year. Still kind of waiting for his huge K stuff, and it just hasn't really happened. Although he has been much better at home, he strikes out almost about an inning at home. In a way, it's much lower. So the fact that he is at home does make him a little bit interesting, and he's just been a really good pitcher lately. 2.86 FIP over the last 5, but over the last 20, 2.11. This guy is a legit pitcher. He is versus that very scary St. Louis offense, but he's really good. So I do like this. Another guy that I want to bring attention to is Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen has been an elite pitcher over the last year plus. If you look, 2.55 FIP is just insane over the last 20 starts. Comes with a 30% K rate. Meanwhile, San Diego striking out almost 23% versus righties. So it is a good spot. Nobody's going to Gallen. So that it is definitely a way to get a little different and going with a good pitcher. Now let's check the FanDuel ownership quickly. Nola's coming at top. Ohtani right below that. Now Ohtani is just super expensive, but I would say he's the safest and best pitcher of the higher ownership ones. So I would probably be going there. And we'll wait to see what happens with this Minnesota game. It could get canceled. So now let's get into some stacks. With 12 games on the docket today, ownership is going to be pretty low across the board for these stacks. So I don't think you need to worry about ownership too much. And we have the Diamondbacks coming in at the highest owned. Look, this team keeps hitting, keeps figuring out how to score runs. They have some speed, a little bit of power, a lot of different ways to score. I don't mind this stack. They're against Lugo today, who Lugo's been a decent pitcher, but I don't mind getting to the Diamondbacks. I also really do like getting to Baltimore. Good ballpark, good weather, decent implied total. Lorenzen hasn't been great. 4.62 FIP, 5 ERA. So I like that spot for them. And now if we go to the highest projected, it's going to come up with the Mets, who the Mets are an interesting spot. This Giants team just hasn't been great, but DeScalafini has a 3.55 FIP over his last 20, but a 4.83 ERA. So he's probably been getting a little unlucky here. I think he is a decent pitcher, but he's not going to go very deep. And the Giants bullpen is okay. I could see why you want to get to this Mets team. They've been hitting really well lately. They've been hot. Then we got Angels. Taylor Carter, he's been decent, 3.49 FIP. You know, Angels are just hard, especially on days where Ohtani is pitching, because you can't use him as a stack. So if you stack the Angels and he's the one that, you know, hits the home runs, gets the runs, your Angel stack's not going to do anything at all. So it is a little scary going that way with him, with that team when he's pitching. Now let's check the value out. We got Milwaukee. We got Detroit. Detroit versus Tyler Wells. Milwaukee against Pivetta. Nick Pivetta is kind of interesting. 5.39 FIP. He is hot or cold. For a little while last year, we were calling him Nick Poverty because he was just getting blown up over and over and over again. Now he can be a good pitcher, but over the last 20 starts, he's giving up 2.04 fantasy points per plate attempt. So it is somebody that I generally like to target. Milwaukee's in a good spot, and they're cheap, and there's some value there. So I absolutely understand if you want to go there. Now let's check out some ceiling. And we got Baltimore all over the ceiling. No surprise. Lorenzen's in a good spot. And if we go to the FIP, Kikuchi is going against the Yankees. Now, Kikuchi is a guy that has had some really nice upside as a pitcher, decent strikeout rate, but he's also got absolutely blown up. And we know this Yankees team can get to him, so I think the Yankees are very interesting today and really not getting much ownership. So that is definitely one way you could go. And if we look at fantasy points per plate attempt, Noah Davis is making Philadelphia really pop. I think Philadelphia is interesting too. Also, very low owned, decent ceiling, decent projection. I think they're in a good spot as well. There's a lot of different ways you can go on this. With ownership not really being that big of a deal today, play who you guys want, and hopefully somebody's going to take it down here. That'll do it for us today. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you on Monday. Have a good one. Bye.